This is part 4 of section 2.1. We've just talked about getting this formula here. And now we want to use this to give the graph of x squared plus x minus 2. And we're going to find the vertex using this formula here. Find the axis of symmetry, the x and y intercepts, and then sketch. So essentially we're doing the same process, we're being asked to provide the same information, end up in the same location as we were up here. It's just we get to use the formula instead of completing the square. So if I have y equals x squared plus x minus 2, my a value is 1, my b value is 1, my c value is negative 2. Okay, so to find the vertex, I first need to find h, which is negative b over 2a. So negative 1 over 2 times 1. So that is negative 1/2. So my vertex, the x value of it is negative 1/2. I need to find the y value still. I'm also asked to find the axis of symmetry, and if you have your h value, you have that. X equals negative 1/2. Okay. So now I'm going to take this negative 1/2 and I'm going to plug it in for x. That gives you 1/4 minus 1/2 minus 2. And that gives you negative 9/4, which is, of course, negative 2 and 1/4, if it helps you graph it. But most of the time, we don't do mixed numbers. Mixed numbers are good for understanding what's going on, but they're not good for computations. So we have a tendency to avoid them. So I can now finish off my vertex. Okay, so if I'm going to plot this, we're going to have to estimate this on this grid. Negative 1/2, negative 9/4. So negative 1/2 is between here. This is negative 2 1/4, so about right there. And then the axis of symmetry is a vertical line that goes through that point. Okay. I know that we're asked how it opens. And since my a value is a positive number, it's going to open up. And since it's going to open up, I am going to have x-intercepts. I always have a y-intercept. So let's find that y-intercept. If my x value is 0, then I have y equals 0 plus 0 minus 2. So that's my y-intercept, which is right there, very close by. And we can use symmetry. I'm half a unit away, I'm half a unit away. And although technically that's enough to get a graph, those points are so close together that it's not really going to do as much good to get it. We're not going to get a graph from that. So now let's find our x-intercepts. So I need to set this equal to 0. Okay, this factors with x plus 2, x minus 1. So my x-intercepts are negative 2 and positive 1. So at negative 2 and at positive 1, I have x-intercepts. So my graph will look something like that. Okay, so as you can see, when we, a parabola will always have a minimum value or a maximum value. So since it always opens up or opens down, there will always be a portion of the graph where there is a portion of the grid where there is no graph. So our range essentially is always going to be restricted. There will be a part below where we don't have any graph or a part above depending on whether we open up or down. And it is based on the vertex. So we can find the range just from finding the vertex. If our graph, you don't have to memorize this, just think about what it's saying. If our A value is positive, that means my graph is going to be opening upward. It means I'm going to have a minimum value. So my range is going to start at that Y value, which is our K of our vertex, and go up. If our graph is opening down, then we have a maximum value. So that means that Y value is going to be as high as it's going to get. That's all these things are saying. Okay, so let's try this problem. We want to determine whether f of x equal to 3x squared plus 12x plus minus 5 has a maximum or a minimum. Then we're going to find that value and then use that to find the range. Okay, so to find whether or not we have a maximum or a minimum, we need to look at our A value. Our A value is 3. 3 is positive. So this is going to open up. If it opens up, it has a minimum value. Okay. So now to find that minimum value, we need to find the vertex. So we need to find negative b over 2a to find the x value. So that's going to be negative 12 over 2 times 3. Negative 12 over 6 is negative 2. So that's the x coordinate of our vertex. We really need the y portion. So I need to take this negative 2 and plug it in here. So I have 3 times negative 2 squared plus 12 times negative 2 minus 5. 3 times 4 is 12, minus 24, minus 5, and that's going to be negative 17. Okay, so the minimum value is equal to negative 17. This is our K, so the range. Since my graph opens up, this is the very bottom value, so it is negative 17 to infinity.